Hello, my name is Nico. I am an International Relations Officer at the Namibia University of Science and Technology. And today I'm going to talk to you very briefly about the economic system of Namibia. So the country operates a mixed economy combining state involvement and private enterprise. Namibia is classified as an upper middle income country but faces significant inequality. Namibia is considered as one of the most unequal countries in the world with a Gini coefficient of 0.58. Namibia's economy has a modern market sector which produces most of its wealth, an informal sector and a traditional subsistence sector. The majority of the population is engaged in subsistence agriculture and herding. A large portion of Namibians are also employed by the government. The government of Namibia, the public service, is the largest employer in the country, and there are also a large number of state-owned enterprises in Namibia. The government of Namibia is also the largest procurer of services from the Namibian private sector. So since independence, the Namibian government has pursued free market economic principles in an effort to promote commercial development and employment creation. The country's sophisticated formal economy is based on capital-intensive industry and farming, yet somehow the country's economy is heavily reliant on earnings generated from primary commodity exports in a few vital sectors. These include mining, especially diamonds, and then also livestock and fishing. There are four key sectors in the Namibian economy, and I'll touch on each briefly. They are mining, agriculture, tourism, and fishing. So, in terms of mining, Namibia is one of the leading producers of diamonds, uranium, and other minerals. Oil exploration is also currently underway in Namibia, with discoveries of commercial-grade oil having recently been made. Namibia is also looking to position itself as a hub for green hydrogen in the southern African region. Mining accounts for approximately 10% of gross domestic product, or GDP, in Namibia, and about 50% of its export revenue. In terms of agriculture, subsistence farming is widespread, especially in rural areas. And livestock farming, sheep, goats, and cattle, is a significant contributor to the Namibian economy. All farming or livestock farming in Namibia is done on a free-range basis. And what is interesting about Namibia is that game farming is also a significant contributor to the economy through tourism-related activities such as hunting safaris. Namibia is well known for its stunning landscapes, natural beauty, and wide variety of wildlife. And so the country attracts a large number of foreign tourists annually, and as a result, the tourism sector is a key player for employment creation as well as for foreign exchange. Lastly, Namibia has a very long coastline, approximately almost 2,000 kilometers in length, and so it benefits from a strong fishing industry based on rich marine resources. The fishing industry is focused on sustainability, as the government of Namibia has the responsibility to allocate fishing rights to private companies, and this they do with, of course, sustainability in mind. In terms of its economic policies and developmental plans, there are a few of these in Namibia. The main or the overarching one is Vision 2030. And this is Namibia's long-term developmental objective. It provides a comprehensive framework to fundamentally transform the Namibian economic and political landscape in areas such as land reform, housing, the environment, health, education, and building an economy that provides equal opportunities for all. And to quote the Vision 2030 document directly, the aim is to create a prosperous and industrialized Namibia developed by her human resources, enjoying peace, harmony, and political stability. Namibia also has 5-year developmental plans. These are known as the National Development Plan, or more briefly as the NDPs. And these are large-scale policy documents outlining the country's strategic goals for economic and social development, focusing on achieving inclusive, sustainable, and equitable growth across sectors like human resources, environment, and governance. Namibia is currently in its 6th National Development Plan, running from 2022-23 to 26-2027. And then lastly, I'd like to touch on the Harambee Prosperity Plan. This was introduced by the late Dr. Hagi Geingob in 2016. And the Harambee Prosperity Plan is a targeted action plan designed to accelerate development in key priority areas, aiming to achieve prosperity in the country by implementing focused policies and programs across sectors like economic advancement, social progression, infrastructure, and effective governance. Essentially, this is a national strategy to address socio-economic challenges and capitalize on opportunities for inclusive growth in Namibia. The first Harambee Prosperity Plan ran from 2016 to 2021, and we are currently in the second Harambee Prosperity Plan running from 2021 to 2025. Land reform is an important economic and political issue in Namibia and consists of 2 different strategies. The first is resettlement, and the second is the transfer of commercially viable agricultural land. Under German colonial rule and then later under apartheid South African rule, Namibians were subjected to large-scale land dispossession, and so the Namibian government has put in place very deliberate policies and mechanisms to redistribute land to the rightful owners. And so resettlement is aimed at improving the lives of displaced or dispossessed, previously disadvantaged Namibians, and farms obtained by the Namibian government for resettlement purposes are usually split into several sections, and numerous families are then resettled on what had previously been one farm. The transfer of commercial agricultural land is not conducted directly by the government, and would be farmers with a previously disadvantaged background can obtain farms either privately or through affirmative action loans, and in both cases this happens on the willing buyer, willing seller principle. Now, in terms of the achievements and challenges of the Namibian economy, Namibia has developed a very stable macroeconomic environment with very low inflation. Inflation figures for October 2024 stood at 3%, and Moody's has given Namibia a B1 with a B1 rating with a positive outlook. Namibia is also well known for very strong infrastructure, primarily roads infrastructure. Namibia is almost every year voted as having the best road network in Africa, and the country also has a very strong telecommunications and ports infrastructure. In terms of the challenges facing the country, Namibia is beset by very high unemployment. The 2024 census report leaves out official labor force statistics, but unemployment is suspected to be around 40%. Youth unemployment for individuals between the ages of 18 to 35 is suspected to be a little bit higher at around 50%. Namibia's economy is still heavily reliant on mineral exports, and as a result it is therefore vulnerable to global price fluctuations. And then, as I've mentioned earlier, income inequality in Namibia remains amongst the highest in the world. Lastly, just to look at the intersections of politics and the economy, Namibia's political stability has created a favorable environment for economic growth. The country has been able to attract foreign direct investment, particularly in mining, agriculture, and tourism. And the political stability that the country has enjoyed has allowed for the implementation of long-term developmental development and developmental plans and economic policies, such as Vision 2030 and the Harambee Prosperity Plan. Namibia nevertheless does face some governance challenges, such as corruption and slow policy implementation. And there have been some high-profile corruption scandals, such as the fish rot scandal, which have eroded trust and some efficiency in the country. As I've mentioned, Namibia has very high income inequality, and so such economic disparities risk fueling political discontent and therefore highlighting the need for inclusive development, something which is also highlighted in the Harambee Prosperity Plan. Ultimately, though, poverty rates in Namibia are declining and other markers such as education and healthcare are improving. The intersection of economics and politics in Namibia are characterized by a complex balancing act, and this is the need to foster economic growth while addressing historical inequalities and ensuring sustainable development. Lastly, Namibia's political system is a model of post-independence stability and democracy, while its economy showcases both potential and persistent challenges. Thank you.